Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to do automation on level, panning, and the mutes. So we're going to use this track that we recorded in class a while back as an example. This is House of the Rising Sun. Just listen to the vocal here in the first section. So you can see even from the waveform here that the level of the opening phrase is not as loud as the second part of the phrase. So what we want to do is we want to add some automation to increase the gain here. That'll help us dig out some of the words, and actually she sounds really good in there, but it's not cutting through the mix. So first I'll show you how to do the automation in the mix window using real-time control with the faders. Automation is recorded using touch, latch, and write. You don't actually go into record for the track. Automation is recorded here where it defaults to saying auto read. Well, we're going to go into write mode, which is where we're going to write automation during the whole time that the track is playing. It's a good way to start. So what we're going to do is we're going to just back up just a little bit here, give us time to get the level going, and then ride the fader. I like to set it up so I can see the track at the same time I'm running the fader.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's
So it's a little jerky because when I'm making the QuickTime movie, the screen doesn't respond very smoothly. But when you do it, it's going to be better. But let's just listen to it real quick. Let's go over here to auto read now, and we'll read the automation that we wrote.
there is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun.
So as you listen to it, you may think of some things that you wish you would have done better. You could go over it again and re-record it. One thing I like to do is go over here to the edit window and shift from displaying waveform to volume, and you'll see the automation that I had written here in that pass. So you can go in here and sort of touch it up, and I think maybe I made it a little too loud. So I'm gonna zoom in here just a little bit and drag over some of that automation with the selection tool and just delete it. So, and then I can just sort of select it and bring it down a little bit. It needed to be louder, but it didn't need to be quite that loud. If you use the hand tool and hold the Option key, you can click on the breakpoints and delete them individually. Let's take a listen to it now.
There is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun.
So let me switch over to the mix window again, and I'm going to mute everything, and let's just play around with this piano track for a minute as a place to manipulate panning. So panning, automating panning works the same way. We want to go into write mode and then move the the virtual knob. So we want to go into right. We want to go into write mode, and then move the virtual knob as the track is playing. So as you can see with QuickTime Movie running, the screen is very jerky. But if we select pan now, you'll see the moves that I made. It actually works much more smoothly when you're not trying to make a QuickTime Movie. But you can see how it pans from left to right. We can do the same thing with panning that we did with the volume control. We can drag select over any portion of the automation and delete it if we want to. We can drag over all of it and make it all go away. We can use the hand tool to click breakpoints and then redraw them. So we'll put it back into auto read and listen to the automation that we've drawn. You can do this on the fly. You don't have to have it stopped.
There is a house.
Another thing that's kind of fun to do is there are different pencil tools that you can use. Freehand allows you to draw sort of like what you did when you used the fader. You can draw freehand lines. You can draw lines which aren't that different from just using breakpoints. You can draw automatic triangles. The triangle resolution will snap to the grid. So if you use half notes, for example, and draw with the triangle, it'll automatically make panning. And if we were locked to a click, we would have these pans happening every other beat. Let me change it to something a little more interesting, like maybe the quarter note, and then draw a very deep pan across there. Let's listen to that. So you can see that if you, for example, had a sustained synthesizer sound, and this was sort of an electronica kind of thing, you could use this drawn panning to create a pulsing, not exactly a Leslie sound, but because it doesn't do the pitch change, but the Doppler effect, but it does create the motion that would be locked to the beat, which is kind of cool. There are a couple of others like the square wave and the random that do the same thing. It depends on where you start clicking and how deeply you draw. The panning will, you can kind of practice it a little bit and you can get a control over it. Random obviously is random. So now let's flip over to the mix window again and automate muting. Go into write mode. I'll use the piano track again. Obviously the mute button, turn it on, the track stops playing, is silenced, and then turn it back off again, it comes on. So this can be useful for creating, getting rid of breath pops and things like that, or creating a gap of silence for rhythmic purposes. So I'll get the track rolling and we'll record some automation. Again, we want to go into write mode, hit play, make the move. So I was a little late on the in. We can again go in and fix it graphically in the edit window. Let's put it back into auto read. Let's go over here to the piano track, and now we'll select mute. And you'll see the passage that has been muted. Up is on, down is off. Let's just listen to it a minute. Actually, not too bad. It was the quick time again, slowing things down. If we want to edit the mute, we can use the hand tool or the grabber tool to click and drag the breakpoints. Yeah, so this was actually better here. You can also draw automation for the muting. Just click a breakpoint and drag it. Slide it left and right to the spot where you want it. Obviously with mute, you don't have any gradations of change. It's either on or off. Okay, cool. That's automation for gain, panning, and mute. It's fun to do, and it really, as you could hear in the first example here with the vocal, automating the level or the gain on tracks, especially vocals, but not just vocals, everything, guitar solos, bass tracks, keyboard stuff. You can really touch things up and make it really much more elegant and much more effective musically, just with some automation. So it's a really effective tool, something you should plan on incorporating in all of your mixes. See you later. Bye.